And welcome back. This is your man Warrior. This is going to be another patron roster review. This is Qui Gonn Schmitz. He is from Sith Happens to You. So what's happening? Sith Happens to You guys. How are you doing? He is currently doing very well in the arena, and as far as ships, Fleet Arena, he's doing even better. Didn't give me a whole lot of direction of what he'd like on his, so I just kind of took a look at everything to see what I thought he could shore up. Sure. And the first thing I saw is that I would actually, on this team that he has, pull Shore Trooper. Now, I know what everyone's thinking. It actually works very well to have Shore Trooper in there, and auto taunt for the Sith works well. It does. I've actually fought against Sith teams with Shore Trooper, and he is irritating because it takes a while to get through him, especially if you do not have many dispellers. So there is that, but I would say that getting Darth Vader up and or Sith Assassin up would be a better choice. Now let me talk about why. Darth Vader is Sith, so he's going to go stealth. So the only person, if you put Darth Vader in there, that would even be able to be hit most of the time is going to be Kylo Ren, whom you have Zated. So that is a terrible experience for whoever's fighting you, as they're pretty much almost always going to have to go after Kylo Ren. He's very difficult to kill, and in the meantime you have a Darth Nihilus and an Emperor Palpatine and a Darth Maul going ape crazy on these guys. So I definitely think that Darth Vader, very tanky, going in and out of stealth, is going to be highly irritating, putting damage over time and doing culling blades. So I really feel like Darth Vader would be a better choice. Plus it gives you more bite, more fight in the arena, gives you more attack damage, whereas Shore Trooper, while he kind of protects you, that's what the dodge happens, you know, when Darth Maul puts everybody into stealth. That is basically your tank ability. That's the ability to kind of protect yourself. You don't really need that tank. You just need a little bit more bite. So you want to get into the top 10, top 5, and that's, I think, how you're going to do it. Now, you're going to face a lot of really fast teams, and that's why my other suggestion was Sith Assassin. Now, Sith Assassin could go in there and speed your whole team up, and the only person that would be not stealthed would be Kylo as well, again, but it's going to allow for your Darth Nihilus, Darth Maul, and your Emperor Palpatine to just go crazy if you have Sith Assassin in there. Plus, Sith Assassin does a ton of damage, amazing amounts of damage, and she keeps herself stealthed even if you didn't have a Darth Maul lead. So I would recommend those two characters right out the gate that you develop, because you have a Sith team, and so it looks like you're embracing the Sith meta. So I would definitely get those two characters you leveled up and try them out. But for now, until you get them where you want them, I would leave Shore Trooper in there. But Darth Vader, you have pretty high. That would be an immediate fix, something you could throw in there and try. And let me know how it works out for you as far as that goes. As far as your ship fleet arena goes, you have a number of ships in here, and you're number 2, so you're doing something right. You're not doing anything wrong. You're doing something right. You're getting number 1 every day, and you're in the top 5. So what you have, I don't really want to mess with, but a suggestion or an idea would be to go and you obviously use your Admiral Akbar, and you can use your Biggs, of course, as a tank. Now, anytime that you get target lock on an opponent, anytime you target lock an opponent, it's gonna trigger Biggs's taunt. So kind of the need, so to speak, if you're going to use some of these other target lock characters up here, such as your TIE Fighter or the Scimitar or the TIE Advanced, the Slave 1, any of those that are really good, Rex's ship, Clone Sergeant's ship, I mean, any of these that are going to apply target lock on the opponents, you're going to want to be able to protect them, and Biggs is the best of the two tanks because he auto-taunts. The moment they target lock, he auto-taunts for you to protect them. So my thought was throwing a couple in specifically the Imperial TIE Fighter, because you're using Admiral Akbar. And so what's going to happen is he's really hard to hit. He's also the fastest ship. So if you're not going against somebody with this ship, what's going to happen is you get to go first. And then he's going to put target lock down. many times over he puts target lock down on his basic. So you're going to apply target lock. You're going to gain more turn meter every time someone tries to hit him, but you're going to go first. You're going to put target lock. Biggs is going to taunt, and that is how the game's going to start. That is an excellent start to any match, is to have your Biggs taunting and one of their ships already target locked. So the Imperial TIE Fighter I would have in the initial lineup. The other thing is, because you have him and Biggs, now you've protected your TIE Advanced because Biggs will be taunting. Now you can have your TIE Advanced in your initial lineup to put a bunch more target lock down on other ships. And then, of course, you're going to want ships like, you know, someone durable like Clone Sergeant or Jedi Consular or Rex or someone in there as well to do damage. But you could go crazy and you could add the Scimitar in the initial 5 as well and put a second tank in, as in Sunfac. And if you do this, what's going to happen is the first round, your guy's going to go first. Imperial TIE Fighter is going to go first, going to target lock the opponent. Biggs is going to taunt. They're going to retaliate, hit Biggs. Your Scimitar is going to get to go, and he's going to put stealth, and you're going to put that on Sunfac, and now all of a sudden they've got 2 tanks they got to deal with. One that's causing target lock, and the other one that's auto taunting off and on, and they're not going to be able to hit your other 3 ships, and those 3 ships can be the Scimitar, the TIE Advanced, and the Imperial TIE Fighter. The TIE Advanced and the Imperial TIE Fighter hit for a lot. And then in your backup, you could have Slave 1. That way you know you're target locking the heck out of the opponents. By the time you lose one of those 2 tanks, Slave 1 comes in and gets to do his AoE against all target locked enemies, which is probably all 5, which means he's going to do a massive damage AoE, clean up the field. And then behind him, you could actually bring Wedge or Rex, but I suggest Wedge because he's a much heavier hitter. He could do 70 to 100,000 damage. And then as a final backup, because he's a little bit slower, Jedi Consular, have him in the end. He can call assists. He can add protection. By the time he's coming in, ships are damaged and are smoking, and he'll be able to apply protection back and allow for them to attack because he calls the assist. So that's just an idea I'm just throwing out there for your ships, since you didn't give me a ton of guidance, but I thought that would be kind of fun. Now we're going to go back into your characters, and I'm going to give you 7 characters I think that you should farm. Number 1 I think that you should farm is this guy, Death Trooper. I think he has a place in the future, especially with the fact that he can increase cooldowns. He can put health down on an AoE. Anytime those types of debuffs are capable by a character, they definitely have a place in the what I would call anti-meta. They are going to be great against anything that comes out that's kind of the biggest and newest and greatest. Now, he hasn't been tested a ton, but I do have one on my shard or my leaderboard. He uses them, and he's definitely one of the higher priorities for me to kill because he's tanky and he does do a number of damage, and you don't want him to put death mark on one of your characters. So you've got him at 4-star. Continue to get him up until you can get him to 7-star. He's now farmable, so that is good. Get him up. You're going to love him. So looking at all your characters, number 2 would be Ewok Elder. Really like Ewok Elder. I think he's a really fun utilitarian character. I've seen your roster. You got a number of really good characters already. So we're looking for some special projects that would really take certain teams to the next level. I don't recommend Ewok Elder often, but for you, I would. You have him 6-star if you want to be able to utilize him in raids and things like that, or even be able to use him in a Galactic War team, stuff like that. You're going to have to get him for the raids anyway up to 7-star. So you got him 6-star, you might as well finish him off. So that would be the number 2 that I would put in. But the fact that he can bring people back to life is definitely makes him very usable, like old Daka. All right, number 3 and number 4 are going to come out of the Rebels, and it's 2 characters you do not have, and that is Chirrut and Baze. Now, Chirrut is farmable in the ship shipments, so you can get him there, but also Baze is farmable on in the 9th level, 9B, or 9C, actually, I believe. And so you now have a lot of very, very overpowered characters and a bunch of people maxed out. There should be no reason whatsoever now that you cannot build up a team and take out that node 3-star and be able to start farming Baze. Now, you may already be doing this, and I know the grind because I'm currently grinding myself a character that has 1 node, and you get 0 shards on some days, and some days you get like 1. So it may take a long time, but don't give up on that. Baze is hands down the best tank in the game right now, with his ability to speed down, with his retribution, with how tanky he is, and the fact that he works very, very well with Chirrut. The next two come out of Sith, and because you have such a deep roster and you've got such an amazing Sith lineup, the two characters I see in here that I would really recommend that you get, and this was going to help you both in Galactic War, Dark Side Battles, you know, anything, Arena, everything, would be Savage and Sith Assassin. Now, those two characters are phenomenal Sith in a Sith team, and if you're looking for some side projects to have fun with, since you have so many characters done, you know, you've got your clones done in First Order and things like that. If you're looking for some side projects, definitely Sith Assassin and Savage, especially Sith Assassins for the speed of your Sith team. And lastly, as a side project, I would have you do Aayla Secure. So I've mentioned Death Trooper, Ewok Elder, Chirrut Baze, Sith Assassin, and Savage, but Aayla Secure is anti-meta, and what I mean by that is she's been relevant since day one. You put a bunch of critical chance on her, and essentially every time she counters, which is a lot, she's going to be stunning individuals. A stun is critical against any meta. Once the character's stunned, they're screwed, and you can do what you need to against that team, so it makes her extremely viable on a team. She's sort of like Kylo Ren in that he gets the retribution, he's super tanky, he can stun. The only difference is he gets to regain protection, but she does have a health steal, it's pretty high, and she can regain health in that sense. But she's a fun character, she's excellent for any type of composition. She could be plugged into any team, so I would definitely recommend her as your 7. So Qui Gonn Schmitz, I hope this helps you out. I hope this helps figure you out with a couple of side projects and some ideas for ships and for Arena as far as Darth Vader or Sith Assassin being plugged in. Also know you could do a Rex lead, and you could do Kylo Ren and Darth Nihilus and put in maybe Emperor Palpatine and Shore Trooper. That's always an option as well if you're really wanting to try something different. And the team that you're currently using does look like, though, that it is working very well for you. Just keep in mind that Shore Trooper is kind of dead weight, and with the Maul lead, I'm not sure you really even need a tank. So I hope this happens. Again, Sith happens to you. Have a wonderful day. As always, keep your gaming on. Warrior out.